Welcome to the Mystic Access Podcast, where the magic is in learning.
Hello, everybody, and hopefully you remember us.
Yeah, that would be good.
I feel like we need to be introduced.
Yes,
Yeah,
we do.
exactly.
I'm Chris.
I'm Kim.
And I'm Lisa.
And this is the Mystic Access Podcast.
We do exist. We are here.
So there are a couple of things that we wanted to talk about. One thing being the fact that we haven't podcasted in about 2 months, and people were starting to wonder where we were, when we were going to put out new episodes. At the end of January, we had issues doing our podcast moving, where on some players such as the Stream, ET, Easy, QCast for Windows, and
possibly others we don't know about.
Right. There were multiple episodes, maybe 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times, whatever, in a row.
Which doesn't look pretty in a podcast feed when you're trying to scroll through and look for episodes, and it causes a big mess.
Right. To rectify the situation, we decided to put podcasts on hold.
Now, of course, that doesn't mean that you couldn't go listen to podcasts. You could listen to previous ones, but it was really, we felt, advantageous not to create any more podcasts until we got that problem fixed. However, we did not realize at the time how long it was going to take us to get everything together. So we sort of broke our own rule here to come back to you guys and let you know where we are, what's going on, and what has been happening with us. So ultimately what's happening here is you will probably, if you are on a Stream, ET, EZ, or QCast, or like I said, others that we don't possibly know about, you will receive repeated episodes of this episode in your feed. And that is going to happen one more time with the next podcast that we put out. And Chris can explain a little more about that.
Basically, what's going to happen is when we post this podcast, we're going to post it in the original feed.
And that's the one that's having these problems.
Correct. When we migrate everything over to the new site, when the new site is complete, you're going to see that episode again in your feed if you have the said players.
Here's the bottom line for you. If you have a smartphone like an iPhone or an Android phone, or if you have another smart device like an iPod Touch or an iPad, there's nothing you need to do. If you have one of the players or readers that was previously mentioned, there's not a whole lot you can do at this point, except please be patient and hang in there with us as we get everything straightened out. And as soon as it is straightened out, we can all celebrate together the death of multiple podcasts that don't belong in the same feed.
Exactly. And never fear, because it's really only going to happen to you one more time after this podcast comes out. And then we can go from there and take steps to make sure that it doesn't happen again. So it's almost over.
Now on happier news, we can talk about this website. So again, we've been pretty quiet. We've been very, very, very busy.
Oh, yes. We are, for those of you who don't know, moving our website over to WordPress. And if WordPress is something you've heard of but don't necessarily know a lot about, you may have the opportunity to find out more about it soon. So stay tuned. But basically, it's just a system upon which people can host websites, and it's very cool because it has what are called plugins and themes and some other goodies, and you can do a lot with it, and you can make your site very, very dynamic and very, very feature rich. And that's what we are trying to do with our site. If you have been someone who liked our current site, you will like this one way, way, way more, we promise. If you are someone who reached the point where you really did not like our current site, we have really good news for you in that this one is going to be far cleaner, far easier to navigate, far more accessible, and offer a large feature set to you that you were not able to utilize before in our current site, which will soon be our future site.
This is one of the coolest things. I basically did no work on this website. That has many advantages. First of all, it hasn't blown up. But the other advantage is because I haven't had any responsibility for its creation, other than saying, wow, I really like this, then I can freely sing the praises of this thing. And it really is fantastic. It will work in ways you didn't even know you needed, wanted, or cared about it to work. It's very simple, very easy, lest some of you who are a little anxious about your technology think this is code for, we're not going to help you anymore. I can assure you that that's not the case, that we are still happy to help you. However, if you like to do that exploration and placing of orders and things by yourself, this is really going to be a delight.
For example, we can start out with one of the probably cool features, and that is we no longer require you to have an account. So if you don't want an account, that's fine. You can check out as a guest and move on with the rest of your day. However, there are advantages to having an account. Those would being able to save your credit card for future purchases, which we weren't able to do before. Also, account history or order history. You can do that. You can also do pre-orders, although pre-orders aren't really required to have an account, but you can manage your pre-orders. So say, for example, we come out with a product that we put on pre-order and it's going to be 3 months from now, and you buy it, and then 2 months from now you decide that you may not have the funding, you just go in and cancel your pre-order. So that's without any intervention from us. That's one of the new features.
And of course, as you could do previously, you can still manage all of your downloads via your account. However, we have really good news for you, especially for those of you who are getting really, really, really frustrated with your downloads, for which we definitely empathized. What's going to happen now is that your downloads for any tutorial that you purchase from us and get the digital download for, which is all of them, you can either still get the digital download in DAISY and MP3, and you can also get it on an SD card. But for your digital downloads, which you'll always get when you order, you're going to be able to download it anytime you want. It's not going to max out on you in a few days, and you're going to say, where the heck's my download? Why can't I go find it in my account and download it? Rather, you are going to have 3 attempts to get your download and download it successfully to your machine or to wherever you want it to be. If you need it reset at any point after that, we can help you out. Just contact us, let us know. But my point in telling you that is you no longer have to worry about, oh, I went on vacation for 2 weeks, I came back, I was anxious to get my download, and I can't. That's no longer going to be a problem.
As long as you don't download it those 3 times, it'll stay there for infinity. You'll have 2,
Yep.
like if you download it once, you have 2 more downloads, and they'll stay there until you download the next time.
And that just makes things easy for you. Now, let's say that there's a product that you want to order, and say it's a digital download, and you're like, well, I'd love to get this, but I really don't have the funds right now to do it, or maybe I want it for my birthday. We have a cool solution for you.
You do?
Yeah, it's called a wish list.
Ah, yes. We have a wish list.
Yes, we do.
And the beauty of the wish list is you can have multiple wish lists. So this might sound a little confusing, but it's really kind of cool. Let's say you just want one wish list. You can make it private so that nobody can view the stuff that's on your wish list, or you can make it public. So if you have a friend that wants to buy you a gift, they can send you something off of your wish list because they can search your wish list and see what you want to purchase.
And how do they do that, you might ask? Well, you can tweet it. You can share it on Facebook. You can email it to your friend and say, hint, hint, birthday. So there are a million ways that you can not only share which products you like, but also be able to keep track of them for yourself for your future purchases.
That is also one of those advantages to having an account.
Absolutely. That way you can just go in and manage your wish lists to your heart's content, and they're very easy and very accessible to manage. So it's quite a pleasure to go in and add what you want to your wish list. Another thing that's going to be very cool that Chris loves about our new site is, let's say something similar to that happens, and you're like, well, I know I've got this friend, and I know she has this item on her wish list that she wants. Well, you can email her a shopping cart.
Exactly. So say, for example, you put 3 items in your cart and you tell your friend, you say, hey, friend, you're really going to like these 3 items. There's a little button there that says email cart. It'll email a link to the cart to your friend so that when they click on that link, it loads the page, loads the cart, puts all the items in the cart. If there were any discounts applied, it takes care of all that for you. I think it's really cool.
Or let's say that you got the Amazon Echo tutorial and you have a friend who's really a tech novice and they're like, I'm afraid to order this because I don't want to do the wrong thing. Well, you can kind of make up a cart. You can add it to your cart. You can add, let's say, an optional SD card. And then you can email that to your friend. All the information he or she needs is right there. And all that person would need to do is enter their own information and click buy.
Absolutely. And that's probably a better example than the one I gave. So that's a really good way that you can utilize this. But really, there's so many ways to use these features. That's what we like about some of the things we've implemented. They're very, very versatile. And speaking of versatility, if you decide, say, you want to go to our site and you know exactly what you're looking for, let's say the Google Home tutorial has just come out. Oops, did I spill a secret? Well, we'll talk about that in a few minutes. But let's say we have a Google Home tutorial that has just come out. You want to purchase it, and you know that's what you want to purchase. You can go to the shop on our site. You can find the Google Home tutorial, and you can hit the Quick Buy button. Now, there are 2 buttons you're going to find next to the item that you want, or next to all of the items. Hopefully, there's one you want. And one of those is Add to Cart, like you've seen on our site before. The other is Quick Buy. If you hit Quick Buy, it's going to bypass the cart and take you straight to checkout. So if you know there's something you just want to come get and grab really quick and check out and go, you've got the option, and it's going to save you some steps. And speaking of adding stuff to your cart, when you do add to cart now, it's not going to redirect you to the cart. Now, hopefully this is going to work out, and we're all going to like this feature, and it's going to work out great for you guys. So this is why we're sharing some of this stuff in advance to keep confusion from hopefully happening later on. If you add something to your cart, you're going to stay where you are, so it's going to look like nothing happened. However, it's going to be much easier than previously to find your view cart link. It just pops up. So you should be able to find it very easily, and we can give you more information about that as the launch happens, and we can kind of show you where that lives. But it's much easier and much more intuitive to find than it used to be. So if you want to add multiple items to your cart, say you're on the main shop page, and you just want to add to cart, add to cart, add to cart, then you can find the view cart link very easily, and you aren't redirected to the cart every time.
One more thing so that we don't overwhelm you completely, and I just wanted to mention this, the way that the new system will be set up is you can filter specific categories, and those are checkboxes. So if you're looking for, say, the Google Home tutorial, and you know where that is, you can just check that checkbox for that category. And
so it's in miscellaneous tutorials as an example. Right now it's in miscellaneous. So if you know it's in miscellaneous, you can find that checkbox and check it, and then scroll down by headings, and there are all the miscellaneous tutorials, and there's Google's suite of products. Another thing you can do, because it's checkboxes, let's say there are a couple categories that catch your attention, and you want to search just in those categories. You don't just have to search one category at a time. Because they're checkboxes, if you want to filter by a couple of categories, just check both checkboxes, and all the items from those categories will appear as headings below. So it makes your shopping experience, hopefully, a very pleasurable one.
That's really nice. That way you don't have to press enter on a category and then find where that information starts and then back out of that and find the category list and press enter again. Some of this is a little hard to pin down to describe, but we think once you see it, you'll like it. At Mystic Access, we're really all about, quote, the magic is in learning, and we want to help you learn our website and really make that fun and even magical for you. And one of the ways that we've done this, we have some free tutorials for you to check out.
Yes, we do. And some of you know that we have a Braille Note Touch tutorial that's been there for a while. So that's on its own separate page still. It's got a whole nice page all about it. What we have now is a page called Free Downloads. If you go to Free Downloads, you're going to find a whole bunch of goodies Some of our products, as you know, sadly enough, have been discontinued. So those tutorials are kind of going into the free tutorials category, and they're not all going to be there at launch. There's still some stuff that we need to do, but you're still going to find a nice variety from each of us. You're going to find something so that you're going to be able to kind of check out our individual styles, how we differ, how we're the same in terms of how we teach. And you're going to get a pretty wide variety of material that you can check out. What's nice about this is, except for those tutorials that are available in Daisy, and some of them are, for those that aren't, and there are a few, you'll be able to either download them or you can stream them directly from the downloads page. There's a nice little player. Now, one little caveat that I have to give you here. If you're an NVDA user, in order to access this player, you need to hit modifier with space, and that'll bring up the player. So for anybody else, the play buttons should just appear. So you'll just see play, pause, etc., and you can rewind, fast forward. There's a little slider. So it's very easy to navigate, and for NVDA folks, once you get into it, it's very easy to navigate as well.
It's actually the same. Yeah, it's actually the same player that's on our old, soon-to-be deprecated podcast site.
So it's going to be easy to navigate. It's not going to give you any problems, but I've put so much heady navigation into it. Everything should be very easy to find. You're going to have a wide variety of stuff to look at. So if you're someone who is new to us, or you're kind of on the fence about purchasing from us, you've considered it, but you really don't know, you've not heard a whole tutorial, all you've heard is our podcasts, this is a really good place to spend some time. Check out a few of the things that are available, see what they're about, and see if there's something that interests you enough to download it and or stream it and check it out. And that will give you an idea of some of what we offer and the quality of our offerings. It may have nothing to do with the tutorial from us that you want to purchase, but it'll still give you a really good idea as to how we work, how we teach, and the quality of the material that we put out for you guys.
Just as a side note, all of our tutorials are now finally in Daisy.
Yes, all of our paid tutorials. Mm-hmm. So anything that you get that's a paid tutorial from us, you will download, and you will get the Daisy and the MP3 when you download. You don't have to choose. You get them both.
We do have other items on this free downloads page for current products. So while we do have tutorials for discontinued products, which is great if you have one of these or you end up buying one on eBay or something.
Yeah, or you just want to check out kind of what we're like.
Exactly.
Just as a sample.
But we have other tutorials as well.
We do.
About that deal with some current products, and we hope that they're things that will benefit you and that will be useful to you. They are only going to be available on the new website once it goes live. And it's our way of saying welcome and look around. And it is our way of helping you to become a little more familiar with the shiny new site and all that it has to offer.
Yes, absolutely. So that really just scratches the surface of what we've been doing and what we've got. We're very, very proud of this thing. If any of you have the misfortune, I suppose, of calling me and saying, tell me about the new site, you need to shut me up because I will talk to you for an hour. So just be prepared. But we're very proud of it. We're very pleased with what's coming together. We have a really awesome designer who's been helping us out, a guy I've known for years. And he's great at his job. He's been helping us do the visual aspect of this stuff. And remember, all three of us are totally blind. So you're not going to find anything inaccessible on this site. It's not going to happen. Unless something breaks, then it's not going to happen. You're going to find something that we have extensively tested on a whole bunch of different screen readers through a whole bunch of different browsers. Now, there are some caveats that we will get to after launch. There are a few things you're going to need to know depending on your particular screen reader and browser setup. It's our tremendous hope that you're going to have a really fantastic experience with all the new goodies that we have available.
And there's a lot more. There'll be a lot more on the site than just shopping in the shopping cart.
Yes, absolutely.
There's a bunch of new features and things that are really just gonna be there to go and check out.
Yeah, and the one other thing that we do want to mention is the podcasts are going to be available through mysticaccess.com now. I think we may have mentioned that previously, but that is something that we're going to do. We're going to keep everything nice and integrated.
This is
one reason that we're moving everything.
We had that problem with duplicate feeds because we were moving stuff around, and doing testing and not realizing that it was messing up all the feeds.
Yeah.
So
So it's going to make things so much better. We're going to blog now. Well, I'm going to blog. Probably Lisa's going to blog. I don't know if Chris is going to blog, but I'm looking forward to having the opportunity to have a blog out, that's MA related. So that's going to be fun. I already have an idea for the first post. So lots of really good stuff to come. We're very excited. Speaking of excitement, shall we share a couple of goodies that are going to show up for our lovely customers and listeners in the coming month or so?
yes.
With emphasis on or so,
Right.
because sometimes
exactly.
things take on lives of their own. But yeah,
The first thing I want to talk about is the Samsung TV audio tutorial that will be done when the site is released, or when the site,
Yay!
yes, when the site launches. That TV tutorial will be done. It will be free, as we have said, but having said that, it is in a new feature of the website that we call Name Your Own Price. So what you would do in that instance is the suggested price is $0. So if you don't want to change it, you just hit proceed to checkout. Nothing's charged. You're given the Samsung downloads, and you go on your merry way. But if you wish to contribute something back, $5, $10, whatever, you just put the price that you want for that tutorial or that product, and you give us $5, $10, whatever. And it would be definitely appreciated, but it's just kind of a unique way that we can say, name your own price.
Exactly. And some stuff that we're going to offer for Name Your Own Price is not offered for free. This one is because we promised you guys that this would be a free tutorial. So it is a free tutorial. It's like giving us a tip. If you like what we do, if you like our podcast, you want to give us a little something, maybe you don't want to buy a full-fledged tutorial, but you want to give us $5. Great. Awesome. We love that. We appreciate it. We thank you very much. So that one is free. We have some others that are going to be in Name Your Own Price that aren't necessarily going to be free, but you can give us something lower than the suggested price. So you might see something in the suggested price and you'll say, I'm not sure I can afford that. But you can give us something lower than that, and that's fine. It'll tell you if there's a minimum price. It'll tell you the suggested price, and you can put in anything you want that fits into those guidelines for a suggested price. Pay for it, and off you go.
The next item is a product that is currently in production, which we've already spilled the beans on if you were paying attention.
Yes. I may have said something about that. This is Lisa's baby. In fact, two of the things we have coming out soon are essentially Lisa's babies, but this one's definitely her solo baby in terms of she's done all the work on it and has been putting this together for us over the last few weeks.
we have been talking about this. I think we hinted at this on the last podcast. I started recording a tutorial, and then things started changing, and I stopped recording the tutorial. And now it seems that, at least for the moment, they are staying the same. So I'm going to continue, and I am recording a tutorial on all the features of the Google Home. I could see where this could be helpful to different kinds of people. Maybe you have an Echo and you think, do I want a Google Home? Why or why not? Or maybe you've never used anything like it and you're considering a Google Home. Even if you have a Google Home, this might be really helpful for you, because to my immense frustration is no one place, no user guide, no documentation on how to use this. So it's almost like you get to build your own sandcastle one grain of sand at a time. So you read this article and you see that Google Home has this feature, and then you read this other article and you see that it has this feature. And so what I am attempting to do is to synthesize that information for you, put it all together, and make something really unique. And that is an audio product that is a user's guide that is tailored specifically toward accessibility for people who are blind or have low vision. So everything that I do, everything I use to demonstrate, of course, is accessible, and I'm really enjoying Google Home quite a lot, and I'm enjoying walking you through the features. Editing out my ums and stutters is not my favorite part, but it will. No, I think if anyone ever said that was their favorite part, I would worry quite a lot.
Yeah.
What ultimately will come out of this, or this is my hope, is that it will be a resource that will benefit you from setup to daily use. I know with the Amazon Echo tutorial, I'll get a question. Well, can't it do this? Doesn't it do that? Sometimes I say, well, I don't remember for sure because that's not really how I use it. But I can very easily navigate through the daisy and find what I need and say, yes, actually, in fact, it does do this. And this is how you do it. And so the Google Home is going to be, in some ways, very similar in structure and style. In some ways, different because they're two different devices, and Kim and I have two different approaches. But I'm really excited about this. This is the one, though, that when Chris said a month, when I said or more, because there is still a fair amount of editing and recording to do on this, I'm deeply enough into it that I'm really anxious to keep moving forward and get it done and get something into your hands as soon as possible.
And probably what will happen with this one is pretty shortly after the site launches, we'll go ahead and get a pre-order up for it as soon as Lisa has enough of an outline for us to do that. And we will go from there and get you guys that availability so that if you want to be one of the first to have it in your hot little hands as soon as it launches, you'll have that ability. We're really happy with our pre-order feature that you can now utilize. So we're pleased about that, and you can pre-order it when that's available.
And I've had time to, quote, tend babies because I'm not working on, quote, the big baby, otherwise known as the website.
That's a beast. That's not a baby.
Sometimes it's a baby. It'll be my baby. It's a beast right now. It'll be my baby again in a couple weeks when it's like, yay, it's done to be my baby.
This sounds like a podcast title, Baby or the Beast. Either that or the latest horror flick.
Yeah.
I'm not sure which.
Well, the new live action of Beauty and the Beast is coming out, this weekend? So
something like that.
Go figure, yeah.
Yeah. But along with that, as you know or may know, we recently wrapped up a 6-week class that walked people through the basics of using and getting set up with the Vario Ultra, and a little beyond the basics as well. And we are very happy that quite soon, I think, we will be able to release this for purchase. Essentially, what you will get are 6 sessions. For the Vario Ultra class, we had a noon and a 9 o'clock class. Kim, who is now a candidate for sainthood, I have on good authority, has gone through and edited this thing and basically taken the best parts of the noon and the best parts of the 9 o'clock class to make a final product. There are some supplements with this. There's a supplemental audio about copying information to a thumb drive. And there is another one that walks you through updating the Vario Ultra. And the way that I planned this one was so that if you are one of those people that is intimidated by the process of updating, and it can be a little intimidating just by virtue of the fact that we don't do it that often. If we updated every day, it would be no big deal. But because we don't do it often, it can seem intimidating. So I've set it up in such a way that you can start the update process on your Vario Ultra and walk through it with me. So if you think, wow, this is taking my Vario Ultra a really long time, I hope everything's okay, you can hear me still yammering on, and I'm saying, okay, it's still updating, and you can know that you're on the right track. There's also a brief reference list that gives you contact information where you can learn more about your Vario Ultra. We will be making it available. We'll have content and pricing information available when the website goes live. My hope is that this really is a valuable resource. This is just an opinion, but I feel that in some ways there are some things about the Vario Ultra that make it a little bit of a difficult tool to learn to use. That is not so much a fault as it is a feature. There are lots of buttons, lots of designs, and lots of customizability. It's one of those things that if you do invest the time into learning it, you will find that it really is a wonderful unit, and it is worth that time investment. So if you have a Vario Ultra or you are considering getting one, you might find that this is something you'll want to investigate once it comes out.
Yes, and if the product is not quite ready for prime time by the time the site launches, the pre-order will definitely be up. The recording, the editing, all of that is done. We just need to get it daisied, and that's Chris's department. Once the daisy is done for that, it will be available for purchase. So hopefully by launch, but if not, there will be a very short pre-order period. Now I want to say one more quick thing about this. I got my Vario 20 in November, I think, of 2015. It has essentially been sitting collecting dust on my shelf. Actually, when Lisa and I first really met, that was one of the things that we were talking about, was the Vario Ultra and getting something together for users of the Vario in an audio format. And so that was kind of one of the ways that she and I first connected professionally. So it's really fun for me to see this coming to fruition, not just as a professional piece of artistry or a class or whatever you want to call it that has come together, but as someone who really wanted to learn to use my Vario very well. And for me, after that very first class, and there were 6 classes altogether with the supplements additionally, but after that very first class, I went and updated my Vario, and for the first time did not nearly have an anxiety attack while I was doing it, because I felt very thoroughly oriented, like I knew what I was doing, and I was just off and running from there. So what I needed was the kind of style and the way Lisa presented the material, and just having some really comprehensive step-by-step guidance. So if I've had my Vario sitting on the shelf for a year and now feel very confident to do pretty much anything I want on it with some practice, then hopefully it will be a really valuable resource for others as well. So as a student, as well as someone who collaborated on this baby, I'm very, very proud of it, and I'm very, very pleased with what I learned as a participant. So there is a ton more to share with you guys, but fear not, we're not going to do it right now. There are more products to talk about, more classes to talk about, lots of things to talk about, but we're not going to do it today. We're going to wait until after site launch to do that and share with you guys. You'll know when the site is launched, because that'll probably be when we have our next podcast. It's not going to be much longer, so stay tuned with us. We're not going to give you an exact date, but it's not going to be long now. We're seeing the light glimmering at the end of this tunnel. So we want to thank you for hanging in there with us, for caring what we do, for being a customer and or a listener, and for really just being part of our little listening group here on the podcast. We are really grateful. We appreciate your participation in whatever way that is, whether you're a listener or you call us sometimes and give us suggestions or email us or whatever. We're very grateful, and we're really looking forward to showing you the fruits of our labors over the last couple of months.
And it was you, the listener, who prompted us to actually put out this podcast, because we were going to just not break our own rule, which we did. We weren't going to put out a podcast until the actual site was launched and everything was done. So it was just our way of talking to you.
Yeah, some of you missed us, and we're grateful to have heard from some of you who missed us. So thank you. And we're happy to be podcasting and sharing some of the exciting goodies that we have in store for you guys very soon.
Take care. Bye.
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 The preceding podcast is a presentation of Mystic Access, where the magic is in learning. To contact us, please visit www.mysticaccess.com. Call us 716-543-3323 and press 2 to reach our Mystic Access podcast comment line. Email us at show@mysticaccesspodcast.com and follow us on Twitter at twitter.com/mysticaccess. Would you like to spread the word about our podcasts? Please tell your friends and colleagues to visit us at www.mysticaccesspodcast.com. If you enjoy what you hear on our podcasts, feel free to leave us an iTunes rating and review. We certainly appreciate those. Also, you may feel free to use our podcasts in your own RSS feed. Just be sure that all of our contact information is left intact. Thanks for spreading the word, and thanks for listening. We hope that you have enjoyed this episode.